I really don't want to make YouTube videos is what I would have said a few years ago, because I felt like I'd be giving up by teaching on this platform. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but my experience at school wasn't amazing. Like, you know, I had a lot of good memories and good times with friends from there, but having to do subjects that I didn't care about or couldn't see the point of long term just wasn't that great for me. And it was only after I got into university/film school then things started to feel right for me, because I was actually studying and doing and focusing on things that I actually cared about and could see a long-term career path in, versus all the random algebra that I haven't used since that I took classes in during secondary school for some reason. And as much as I admired the teachers that I had in my film school, most of them weren't actually in the industry anymore. Teaching was their full-time job now, versus them doing the roles that they were actually teaching their students to learn about. And this was kind of the beginning development of my mindset around the idea of like teaching equals giving up. It equaled accepting that you're not actively pursuing growth in the specialization that you once did, because now you're spending your time teaching it to other people. And starting a YouTube channel felt the same way, that I'd be giving up on my dreams to instead be investing that time to teach other filmmakers and creatives, rather than putting that time into spending on teaching myself and improving myself within these skills and disciplines. And after doing YouTube videos for about 3 years now, I've come to realize that that mindset that I had is kind of very flawed, because teaching and doing the thing that you're teaching about, these things are not mutually exclusive, and you can totally do both. You know, get the benefit of being able to actually figure out if you can teach the knowledge that you're acquiring to other people, and then you're helping people who also want to be doing the same thing that you're doing, but they're currently at a lower level in the phase that you're at, and you're just helping make their whole process a lot easier and inspiring them in the way that you probably wish you would have been inspired by when you were at their same level. You know, and I consumed so much YouTube content early on, you know, filmmaking content in particular, watching people like Freddie W, Carter Digital, you know, early YouTubers that really inspired me to want to get into the discipline of video editing, VFX, making videos. And I just felt a bit guilty about the fact that, you know, I was consuming all of these things and I wasn't actually contributing anything back to the community that I'd been consuming so much. So that was like a big drive for me to want to get over this hurdle of the negative mindsets around teaching. But I also realized that the community of YouTube in particular is so amazing, and everybody kind of knows everybody in the little communities. And I felt just like being able to share my knowledge online and contribute, that I'd be able to connect with loads of other creative people just by sharing my opinions and perspectives online. And yeah, I've been able to do that to some degree. I'm still very early in the phase of making YouTube videos in terms of, you know, versus people who've been doing it for way longer than me. But it just seems like that being able to teach actually allows you to connect with the people who once were your teachers, like in a very what's the word? Parasocial relationship, that's it. So yeah, you knowing them way more than they know you, or maybe they don't know you at all. And maybe there is some truth to the idea that, like, you know, a lot of the YouTubers out there who are making regular content online, there's probably a bunch of them that actually, once their channel grows and they can make courses and they make money from that, maybe a lot of them are actually not working on the thing that they are teaching, because, you know, YouTube just takes so much time. Maybe their channel grows to a point where they get so much success that they realize, hey, there's kind of no point in doing the thing that I was doing before, because I make way more money doing YouTube and it's more fun. I can just do it inside rather than, you know, being in the woods, freezing your ass off or whatever it may be. So I kind of get it. Like, if you have knowledge that you can back up with experience and people like you and you can talk to the camera in a way that you can connect with people and you actually help people, which is the main thing, then who cares, like, if you actually are doing that, you're teaching about it to a lesser level or maybe lesser focus, because everybody can make their own decisions in terms of what they want their goals are to be in life. Like, just because the person is driving to be the best filmmaker or the best musician, like, maybe they're actually not the best person to teach the skills of being a musician. Like, teaching is in itself a skill set to be able to condense and to convey knowledge and expertise. And maybe the people who are actually at the top, they can't explain it properly in a way that, like, you would want to listen to. And that you would actually engage with. So it's not so simple as like, oh, well, if you're not in the top 10 in this skill, then you like what justifies you, what gives you the right to teach? And that's the thing that a lot of people have with YouTube. Like the trepidation about starting is that, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, who would listen to me? I haven't achieved this, I haven't achieved that. So why would anybody listen to me? But it's not like YouTube. There's so many skills with YouTube, like YouTube, the ability to be able to speak to camera is in itself, especially now, it's a forever skill that has never been more in demand, has never been more valuable. And your ability to like speak in front of the camera in an authentic way, in a way that like is like feels real, and you can grab people's attention in a way just because you can talk, will open you up for so many opportunities, like job opportunities, collaborations. There's so much you can do with just having the confidence to sit and speak in front of a camera, which if you have that skill, use it, because I think people who can speak in front of the camera really undervalue and underappreciate how so many people can't do this. Like, they're just so nervous, so self-conscious, like that would be a nerve-wracking thing for them to be doing what I'm doing right now. And yeah, so if you're even able to like do it to some degree, maybe you don't think you're amazing, but the fact that you even can do it, holy crap, capitalize on that now and get better at it and build up that skill, because it's never going to go away. And as I said before, it's only going to become more valuable as the years go by. And if you ever do, you strongly feel like, oh, I'm just totally not qualified to talk about this on a YouTube video. So if you're like thinking about starting YouTube and you're like, oh, I'm still in the middle of learning this skill, I haven't really achieved anything that like I feel is worth to say that I'm a qualified teacher of this thing. Don't perceive it as teaching, just perceive it as documenting. Like this video, what qualifies me to talk about this other than the fact that, I've made like 50 plus YouTube videos? Does that instantly qualify me? There's people who've made 300 YouTube videos. So how can they, share their ideas and topics around, how to going for a mindset around not being scared to put yourself out on camera. So it's the same thing. Like I just perceive a video like this as documenting. I'm just sharing my perspectives on this topic at a particular time and place in history. And people are going to disagree. People are going to agree. Some people might resonate with what I'm saying. Some people might not. But it's just my experience of what's going on for me in the moment. And it doesn't make me any less right or wrong. And if I feel like I am wrong, then I will change my opinions later down the line. But even so, I think I would love to be able to look back on a video like this and to be like, oh, that was Adam's experiences and mindsets in this particular place in time, and maybe they're very similar to how I am X years later, or they're very different. And that in itself will teach me a lot about myself and about my growth and how I become different throughout the years. And hopefully you guys would feel the same watching this, where, giving you ideas and concepts that you can relate to that maybe make you change your behavior in a subtle way or a big way, like, actually sitting down and talking in front of the camera and making your first ever YouTube video, which would be a massive growth change just from watching a simple video like this. And yeah, you might get the imposter syndrome that a lot of YouTubers and people who are putting themselves out there in a way will get and probably have already gotten. And imposter syndrome is really the worry of people either not caring at all or caring too much about what you're saying and sharing, which is funny because when you put it like that, you're like, oh, I'm too scared that people would care and put hate comments, and I'm also scared that people don't want to listen and watch at all so they won't say anything. Like there's like a weird happy, like where's the middle ground here in this? Like your fear is so the broad ends of the spectrum of probably what's not going to happen and you're using that to drive your worry to not even put yourself out there on a camera. It's pretty crazy when you rationalize it like this. And YouTube's a funny one because you'll start doing it and you'll get really low view counts. Like honestly, I still do now. Like my videos are only just getting 100 views, if that. And that's only for you. It might only validate these insecurities that you have of people not caring what you have to say, or that number being connected to the idea of like it's not valuable or helpful to other people. But you've got to remember that the low view count that you get isn't a reflection of your skills and experience of what you're talking about. It's more of a reflection of other skills that aren't even about the area of expertise that you're sharing. It's more about your skills in thumbnail design, your skills in your speaking style, your editing, your presence on camera, all of these things. Like your expertise and your like the value in what you're saying still exists, but it's just that you haven't been doing this long enough, that the other elements that go into having success on YouTube, they've not quite fallen into place yet. And I'm starting to realize that, like, with every video I make, I'm getting better incrementally in all of these different areas. And I am slowly starting to see the view counts creep up. So definitely don't take this personally, because that's only going to prevent you from doing the main thing, the most important thing, which is actually sitting in front of the camera and putting in the reps in to get better at this skill of teaching through an online medium. Honestly, if you've just made one YouTube video, you're better than like thousands and thousands of other people who never did and never have yet, because they were just too scared and self-conscious about, you know, all these different barriers that they thought were placed in front of them, people criticizing themselves, etc. Like, the fact that you can just make a YouTube video, or you have the balls to do that, is incredible. The fact that you even have the mindset of, like, it's not about teaching, it's about sharing. I'm sharing because I want to build these skills. I want to try and connect with people who feel the same way. If one person gets value from this, it's totally worth me putting the time and the effort into doing that. And it turns out if there's probably at least one person who finds your video valuable, once you get better at all the other skills that I mentioned that go into making YouTube videos, you're going to realize that there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are interested in the things that you have to talk about and find value in it as well, which is pretty mind-blowing when you hit a point where you're like, oh my God, there's people interested in this topic like I am. Like, I remember, you know, I made like a video which is the best editing app. And that video has like a couple thousand views, and just knowing that people are interested in that, because I'm such a nerd with tech and software, and I'm like, oh, which is the best one? And I want to learn them all. And I put the time into learning all the different editing softwares. And then the fact that somebody is like, which is the best one? Then they watch my video and they're like, oh, it's really interesting. I learned stuff. I want to meet these people. Where are they? Are they in my city somewhere? I'm sure they are. It's just about finding them, and yeah, hopefully putting myself out there brings other people who are interested in these same topics together. And this is not just about YouTube. Like, you don't have to be a YouTuber, but just the idea of teaching on a platform of your choosing. You know, it could be blogs, it could be short form content, if you just prefer making short form content. This is not just like a YouTube specific thing. This is more about the idea of like just being able to teach, being able to share. And yeah, you might not want to be a teacher. You might just want to make stuff that's purely entertainment to make people laugh, etc. There's definitely a space in the world for that. You know, like PewDiePie definitely wasn't teaching in his early videos. He was entertaining. He was making people laugh. He was giving people some kind of escapism from their life, and that's all necessary. And he's since made videos that are a bit more teaching related. So it doesn't really matter the avenue that you go through, the direction that you take, the types of content that you make. It's just more about, like, can you help people? It might not be very specific of helping them, you know, like how to learn how to manage your money better. It might be as simple as helping them for a little bit of an escapism. So yeah, it doesn't matter what platform you use. It doesn't matter the medium and the message. It's just all about getting over your own barriers and hurdles about the ideas of teaching to be a teacher. Because, you know, like, I personally just have this very clear idea. If someone says teacher, like, I visualize a suited older gentleman in a like, I don't know, like a teacher that just looks specific. But you've been around teachers your whole life. You've had maybe a sibling that taught you something, or taught you to, you know, to be better at a sport, or you know, you've asked a friend like, hey, how do you do something on this computer software? And your friend's like, oh yeah, just do that. Like, we're all around teachers all the time, and learning makes me personally, like, I just love learning stuff. Like, it's like food to me. So yeah, if you're a consumer of the food, you need to also be able to give the food, the metaphorical food that is being able to teach other people, share your knowledge, document your knowledge. And honestly, like, the world, there's just so many people who are like you that you haven't discovered yet, who want to hear what you have to say and will connect with it. I mean, this is the whole reason why YouTube is going pretty crazy now with a very simple edits, like less of the Mr. Beastification with the crazy edits. Like, people don't really want that anymore. They want more simple. I mean, yeah, people still want that, but it's overcrowded now. And that's why it is refreshing to see maybe videos like this, where very loosely scripted or unscripted, very minimal editing, and it is just a lot more candid, less perfectionistic, and people just, for some reason, they feel like they can connect with that more because it just feels more real, feels more human. And I guess their attention is, it just stands out more now. And I think content like this will always be evergreen, as it were. Like they'll just last for a long time, because the flashy editing, all that, like that changes with the time, that changes with our attention spans. But just being able to hear someone talk candidly about a topic, I think that will always hopefully resonate with people, and the ideas in it will will age like a fine wine, I hope. If you want to start pursuing your main interest, or like following your passion, which is a big buzzword now, you should definitely check out this video over here, where I kind of break that myth by explaining why following your passion actually kills your creativity. Click that subscribe button if you haven't, because if you don't, I'm going to enroll you in Tommy Wiseau's Creativity School. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.